Welcome, everyone, to Dial the Gates, the Stargate Oral History Project. My name is David Reed. I appreciate you being with me for this episode. I have someone very special joining us for this show. I'm going to let her introduce herself, though. So let me just go ahead and share this little bit.
Welcome, everyone. We have a very special Stargate announcement.
This has been a very hard secret to keep for the last 18 months, but we can announce today that a brand new Stargate series is coming to Prime Video.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so rare for the original creators to get to work on the new version of a show. This is a show for everyone, everywhere.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!
We're going to be able to do things that we could not do in 1997. I strongly feel that the fans will watch this show and say, this is Stargate.
In that 25-year span, their enthusiasm for Stargate has never waned.
The one question that I think so many fans are asking, is this going to be a reboot?
It is not a reboot. It's its own unique chapter in the Stargate universe.
God, I can't breathe! Yes! Hello,
Anna,
everyone.
that Star Wars girl. How are you?
I'm good. That's embarrassing to watch myself back, but
Did you watch that did you record yourself doing that for the first time that you watched that?
no, but I was still excited. I think I got
yeah.
more excited as I processed that it was real. So, for those that don't know, I just had a baby, so my time is like, well, not yet. She just turned a year, so
Oh,
I've
congratulations.
had a baby over the course of the year. So it's like managing my time and time to film and stream. It's like you got to be really precise on your timing and scheduling. So I saw that in between nap times, and I was like, is this real? And I got more and more excited as I found out it was real. And the more I found out about it, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to like stay true to it. And they
Yes.
respect the fans. And I'm like,
Yes.
okay, I'm even more excited.
Well, it's such a crapshoot today. You know, you've got so many different possibilities of how this could go. And it's like, which one is it going to be? And like I've been saying, it's like we've gone through the quantum reality options of Stargate, and we've come out the other side with, oh, this is the reality that we're in for this show. It has a really great chance to be awesome, and I think that it will. So
So do I. I'm actually so optimistic out of everything, like, especially for those that like Star Wars or Disney Star Wars, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I hate it. For those that
Okay.
like the new Star Trek, I hated it as well. But I had a little hope for Picard season 3, and that one, it was promising. But as far as Stargate, I'm like, I'm so excited. Like, there's nothing really holding me back on like, oh, this is worrying me, because it's everyone that's working on it has worked on it before. They got the original people back, and it seems from your guys' video that they care about the people that have been keeping the fandom alive for so long, like you documenting all of this and keeping this alive on your channel. Channel. Can you guys tell I'm nervous?
No. Oh, come on. Give me
I
a
know.
break. Girl, you are a rock star compared to me. No. I'm
Oh,
thrilled
not
to have you.
even.
But yeah, so seriously, it was genuine. It was so genuine. Martin, I've known him since season 2 of Atlantis. He's
Oh,
a
wow.
good guy, and he knows what he's doing. And the fact of the matter is, he's gone on to produce some solid television. And I'm really interested in seeing what he and what the other folks who are going to be contributing to this have become as writers. Now, Brad and Joe, I don't know if they're going to be penning any stories, but their creative involvement is definitely going to be there. They're not the same people that they were, but I don't necessarily expect that. But when Brad says that it's going to be Stargate, it's going to feel like old Stargate, you can take that to the bank. I know it, because like everything that I've watched of his, I have loved. Have you seen Travelers by any chance?
I haven't. I know that there's a little controversy over the ending of it, but I need to add it to my list. Do you like it? Do you recommend
So
it?
I did love it. I look at it like I look at SGU. It is
Okay.
you get a nice conclusion of the first act of a 3-act play, and Travelers was cut off very similar. If you were able to watch Universe and enjoy it based on where it finishes, you will be able to
Yeah.
watch Travelers and enjoy it based on where it finishes, because there's some time manipulation there, some
Oh, okay.
iteration, some windows of opportunity, so to speak, and you will get to see one of them. So,
Okay.
yeah. So how long have you been a Stargate fan? How far do you go back?
I don't even remember when I
Okay.
first watched it. Like I have such like a clear memory of when I watched Star Wars for the first time and then Star Trek, but Stargate, I remember having the VHS of it and
Ah,
watching it like the movie. And so I grew up on a ranch for those that don't know. And so I didn't have like cable. So whatever we could catch if I was like at a friend's house
yeah.
or whatever bunny rabbit antennas could get with tinfoil. So
Oh my God, I
I know
remember
that
the
I had
watching Voyager that way. Ugh.
well, so I remember seeing like episodes here and there. So I was aware that there was a TV show.
Yeah.
I didn't watch anything while it was airing. Like I was
Oh,
still like little when
okay.
Atlantis came out. I remember Atlantis being really popular and wanting to watch it, but didn't have, my mom was like, we're not getting cable.
Yeah.
So didn't have that, but I did watch it all later. And I remember like at least high school age, actually going through and watching all of it and enjoying it. And I just recently, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, watched all of Stargate Universe, and I actually liked it. I don't,
It's my
maybe because
favorite.
it's so after the fact,
It's my
I
favorite.
wasn't involved in the
Yeah.
controversy of it, but I liked it a lot. I think, you just have to be prepared that like not everyone is a saint on the show.
Well, that's the thing. And also, you've watched it in a time when more of that kind of TV, like we've had Breaking Bad, we've had those kinds
Yeah.
of shows, and it's like
Yes.
it was way ahead of its time. It was
Yeah.
perceived as replacing Atlantis because Atlantis's stories were not completed. The Wraith
Hmm.
callings were not handled. Is really what this all boils down to. And it was a darker tone. It was a more adult, more real thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I look back on SGU and that ship, and I look at it as what it could have been had it run for 5 seasons. And boy, in the second season there, especially near the end, they were cooking with gas. It
Dude,
was
it got
so
so
good.
good. And when it ended, I was like,
I know.
no.
It can't be it, and even Andy Makita, they were mixing the final, and the word hadn't come down yet about it, but MGM was going through bankruptcy and everything else, and they're
Yeah.
watching the ship sail away in the on the edit screen, and he's like, I have a feeling that's it, and he was right. So, but what is
So
about
bittersweet.
Atlantis is your favorite? What makes Atlantis sit on top for you?
Well, first off, I like the Wraith. The Wraith are fantastic villains. That very first episode right off the bat is like, okay, these guys are not to be messed with
It's
because
very punk rock.
not it's not like they're narcissistic egomaniacs that just want to rule. It's like,
They're
no,
just
they
hungry.
need to eat. They want to eat you. We are
Yeah.
their food. It's like being stuck in the ocean with a shark, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
And they're out there and they're cut off from Earth. So there's that aspect of it. And a hero is only as strong as their villain. So when you have a strong villain like that, that's scary, that you have to rise to the occasion to defeat. That's some pretty big stakes for them. And also, I love the cast. I love the dynamics between Rodney and Sheppard. I'm like, when there's a good friendship in a movie,
Yeah.
that's what gets me. That's what got me about Star Wars. I love the dynamic between Han and Luke. And then, one of my other favorite movies that's animated is The Prince of Egypt. I love, the brother
I
in that.
love
So
that film. That's my favorite animated film.
it's mine too. It's so beautiful.
Ramesses! just to let his people
Oh,
go. But no, seriously, that's awesome. It's often compared. Rodney and Beckett are the best of friends, and I'm on the fence. I really think that Rodney and Sheppard were,
yeah.
and I think Paul would probably dispute that, and rightfully so. But there's some special connection between them. The show never got more real and grounded than the two of them sitting on that pier drinking beers,
I know.
as Rodney's mind is slowly unspooling. I mean, you're a good friend, Arthur. I'm getting tingles just thinking about that scene. That was peak Atlantis, and that was peak Brad Wright. He was on his game. He
It
made
was.
some of the best stuff.
With everything coming out with the Fantastic Four last year, I had this realization, and I'm like, they have never really, in my opinion, they've never really got the dynamic correct between Reed Richards and Johnny Storm. And when you watch Atlantis, it's like that's Reed Richards and that's Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
That's it. Though that dynamic is what was, so I guess, lovable about those two characters in the Fantastic Four because they're so different. And that's Sheppard and that's Rodney.
right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, they got it. But it's in sci-fi. It's Atlantis.
And remember, Martin Garrow brings that up in First Strike, you know? It's like,
Mm.
they're a good team and we're a good team. We're the Fantastic Four. And Rachel and Teyla's like, and why do you get to be Mr. Fantastic? No,
Because it's Rodney.
that's right. Rodney's got to be the Human Torch. So that's awesome.
No.
What I was hearing you talk about season 3 of Atlantis, and I'm really curious as I'm sorry, I'm gonna go there.
Do you like this episode?
Sunday?
Is that the one, the exploding bomb?
Exploding
Exploding
tumors?
tumors?
You ready for me to rock your world?
You like it, don't you?
It's my favorite episode of Atlantis.
Okay.
So
I get it. It's all heartfelt, but really?
yes, and here's why. Martin and I talked about that episode a year before he wrote it.
Okay.
So I picked his brain for a year before he sat down and wrote that thing. And he was a big fan of a film called, I don't know if you've seen this. You want to talk about a dark film. There's a movie called Elephant, which I don't know why it's called Elephant, but it is. And you can look it up. It's one of those where it's like, it's really dark. And he wanted to do a show that was told in different perspectives. And as you moved along, you gathered pieces to the puzzle until something major happened and there was no going back.
Mhm.
And that's really what Sunday was. And it was just, he just wanted to do an episode where everyone had a day off. But the hidden in that concept was, let's do something where it's not just, we're not just chill. Something irreversible happens to all of them. And that's the reason that I love Heroes. That's the reason that I love Sunday. When you get to illustrate someone's sacrifice for the people that they love. And you get to, you can't often kill a lot of these characters, but if you do kill one of them, you can maim, you can wound all the rest of them in the process. And it's showing how the show was more real. The flip side of that is, and of course the dark side of that is, if you lose your favorite character, you lose your favorite character, you know? And I'm guessing Carson was up there for you.
He was. I still go back and forth on which death was more infuriating to me, his or Elizabeth's, because
Yeah.
it just changed the whole dynamic of the show. So
That's right.
I guess maybe if it was something different than exploding tumors, because I had Joe on a while back and I was like,
Malazzi.
really? And he's like, yeah, it was silly, but
Exploding tumors. You got to be kidding me.
it happened that way. You know what? It is as far as the storytelling goes, I'll give it to you. That is a great episode as far as that. It leaves you on a cliffhanger because Ronan as Sheppard, like why him and Teyla never got together. And then, that happens. Elizabeth's on her date. And then the whole time it's like, just go fishing with him. And then when you end the episode, it's like, you should have just gone fishing with him.
I should have just gone. Yeah. And that's him having to live with himself and the consequences there. But I think that I think you could probably take it as read that Sheppard was probably going to say, I'd be willing to marry again if the right person came along, because his ex is not a horrible human being. I mean, one of my favorite lines from the entire series is, remember me telling you about my ex-wife? And everyone says, yeah. It's because here she comes.
That is a good one.
It's like he has the capacity for Sheppard has the capacity for a more stable relationship if he can just get out of his own way with the world that he's presented. I mean, he's dealing with life-sucking aliens week after week, and he goes home and deals with a replicator on the side. So it's wild. But that's what I love about Stargate is it takes you to these odd places, and we still, like Sam, she's going and negotiating with Tok'ra, and before she goes, she's talking about her father whose cancer is worsening. There's something the juxtaposition of the two that Star Wars a long time ago and Star Trek long time from now can't really touch. And it's more than just colloquialisms. It just feels more like us because it is us.
Well, it takes place right now. Back
Yeah.
then, this new one's going to take place right now. It's going to be
Exactly.
interesting to see them all with iPhones and AI.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're watching it, it's like, yeah, this could be what our military is doing right now that they're all keeping secret from us. Like, I love the episode. Oh my gosh, I blanket on the actor's name.
It's all right.
From The Nanny. Remember, he's the billionaire that Elon
Alec
Musk
Coulson.
hyped.
So we just had
Yes.
Charles Shaughnessy on last week. Hello, Miss Fine. And by the way, I have an Asgard in the back room.
I
No,
love
it's-
those episodes. Those with him are great. I'm just like, this would happen. Some billionaire would find this out and he's like, I'm exposing this. It's like, come on, Elon.
No, absolutely. Well, I think there's a place. I really think that there would be a place for Alec Coulson in this new show because he's that kind of character. He's not Elon so much as he is like a Steve Jobs. Even Charlie was saying, you know,
This is
he's not really
gonna
the
show. I didn't know who Steve Jobs was until after he died.
Okay.
That's like, I grew up on a ranch in the middle of nowhere. That's
What
how
state were you in?
California, but
Oh, okay. No, Coulson was more of a visionary, whereas Elon is actually getting involved like in the
Yeah.
creation of it. And really Shaughnessy was basically saying, I don't think I think he hired the people and was able to coordinate the creative efforts of the people in that case. So I think Jobs would be a more appropriate person, but
Gotcha.
with this day and age where we have all these moguls and, these larger than life people throwing their weight around, it would make sense that someone like another Coulson or Coulson himself would come to the fore again, even if he's on some planet somewhere. You don't keep that person with that kind of brain power and reasonances
Out of the loop.
Out of the loop. No, you would want to take advantage and leverage him.
Well,
I
also,
was
like,
convinced he was
now-
on Destiny, but he wasn't.
Well, honestly, now I feel like someone would be figuring it out, like on their computer at home, going and be like, look at every single time, like this energy spikes from here and it's coming from underneath Cheyenne. Like, I feel like us
Something's
at
going
home with the technology we have now. So it's going to be really interesting what they do with this new show. But
Yeah.
circling back to that episode in Atlantis, listen, I understand it's a good episode. I understand exactly why you like it. I don't like sad endings, sad movies. I don't like characters dying.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, I watched it once and maybe if I do another rewatch, maybe I'll power through it and watch it again. But
That's fair.
I get so emotionally attached to these things that it's hard for me to watch it because it's just like, I don't want to go through that heartache again.
No, and I totally get that. Heroes is one of the hardest things for me to watch. It's even though the problem with being in the loop on Gate World was you see all this stuff coming a mile away, especially with the spoilers. That I'm really interested to see how they're going to handle a lot of the spoilers for this new show coming up because we just kept on getting all these leaks, and on a certain level, I had to be informed. So it kind of sucked, but with this new show, television's done completely differently. It's not even on TV anymore. It's streamed.
I know.
So it's all night and day. And I really have no idea what to expect. What do you think we're going to see? Do you think it's going to be set in our galaxy? Do you think it's going to be set in another one? What do you expect to happen?
Well, every single show, it started off on Earth because Stargate Atlantis started off in Antarctica and then Universe started off, well,
Icarus.
trying to
But
remember
yeah, the
they
base.
start
yeah.
well they
In
started
the
off
Milky
on
Way. Yeah.
yeah. So it starts off here's like SG base, whatever it is, and then it goes off into different. So that's what I guess I would expect for the very beginning, and then introduces into whatever. Okay, we're gonna go get the Destiny. There's a Wraith outbreak and they got out, so we got to go. I don't know, to the moon of this galaxy over here. Instead of Pegasus, let's go to Andromeda.
It could be Andromeda. I suspect it's going to be another galaxy.
I kind of hope so.
Every
And this
show
is the one
has a
thing
new network.
I think we had Atlantis and Pegasus, Destiny's all over the damn place. So it would make sense to bring up Andromeda. I just me saying my
Sombrero
2 cents on it.
Galaxy. That's where it's going to be.
We shall see.
Jeez. Oh, man. Who was your favorite in the cast of SG-1?
I mean, I feel like the answer would always be Jack. But you know what? I like Daniel's episodes a lot.
Daniel was always my favorite.
Daniel has great episodes, but it's like
Yes.
when I think about it, I'm like, who would I want to hang out with? Or who would I want to be stuck on a planet with? It's like, okay, well, if it's technical, I'd probably want to be stuck with Sam. If
Yeah.
it's like we're gonna get into a fight, probably Teal. If I need entertainment, Jack. If I want to learn about history and stuff, or have a conversation of something interesting, Daniel. So it's hard because they're all so lovable.
How did you feel about SG1 once Rick left the show? Or at
I was
least
so
we
angry.
get really, yeah.
I get frustrated. I'm a creature of habit. I'm set in my ways. If things are going good, I'm like, okay, they're going good. And then when he starts to leave, I'm like, and then so I angrily Googled, I'm like, why is he leaving? It's like, oh, he wanted to spend time with his kid. I'm like, I can't be mad at him for
You
that.
can't blame him for it at the same time, but this doesn't mean you're not going to miss him any less. So.
Yeah, so it was a hard adjustment. I didn't like Cameron for the longest time. He's got good episodes, but I'm like, you're from Farscape. You are not Stargate. So it
It's a
still
different
takes me a little
character. I think
It
Crichton,
is.
we were spoiled on Crichton. And I'm saying that as someone who has only seen a handful of Farscape episodes. I've not really watched it yet. It's on the end. It's near the end of a long list. But Crichton was just so, I mean, a brand new car. I mean, that you put that against Cameron Mitchell. Cam doesn't have a chance in hell. He's so much more straight-laced and like kind of uncomfortable with himself in some situations. Like you watch him in Unwanted, or what's the episode with the bear turns into a mutant thing, Uninvited, where it's he's in the woods at Jack's cabin with General Landry.
Oh, yes, that episode. Okay,
and he's
I
on his
remember.
laptop out there doing work. He's unable to chill, but they're all so different. I mean, I loved what Jonas brought to the show, even when Daniel wasn't in that season 6, and Daniel was always my favorite. So I really take a look, try to sit back and accept the season as it's being presented. It doesn't mean I'm going to love all of them, but there are good episodes to be had in any of them, for sure.
Yeah, Jonas, I did like him. He's very childlike and innocent, I think, which makes it's like, okay, you kind of have to like him. But it's when Daniel left, that bothered me. I get it. He's the whole, I lost my wife. What is my purpose? Why am I even doing this? We're just getting beaten down. I'm like, okay, yeah, dude, I get it. And I knew he was coming back, so I guess that one didn't hit me as hard.
You already knew.
Whereas because I had the DVDs, so it's like, okay, he's on this box, he's on the picture, so I know he's coming back. I just don't know how yet. So I was like, okay, he takes the season off, whatever. We get this one guy, which I'm like, okay, we got another alien on the team, which is cool. And then they circle around back to him. When Jack left, I'm like, it just wasn't the same.
It was a very different temperature. It was a new villain. I mean, the war in the Middle East was really hot, and everything that was going on out there was being expressed in our television. Enterprise had the Xindi arc, which I think is some of the best Star Trek ever created, in my opinion. And SG1 did a treatment with that with the Ori. And I love the ancient backstory. I love all the information that we were provided there. But it was very intense and dark. And it really took the show in a different direction. They were going to rename it Stargate Command. Stargate SG1 was not going
that.
And I mean, had they done that, because salaries and dollar figures and everything else could have meant a completely different future for that show. It could have gone on its own in another 3 seasons.
Now I'm just like, why don't they name this new one Stargate Command and you have different? There you go.
They could. If they really were going to set it on Earth, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just Stargate. Because if it has a colon and then something after
well, tell us, Mr. Spoiler Man, that's got all these insides. You think it's just going to be Stargate?
I think it may be. I don't know for sure, but I would think that because of this, if you're wanting to attract new viewers, you're not going to want to suggest that this is the 4th in a long chain of other shows, as obvious as that may be, because you want to infer not a reset, but that this is for a new audience member as much as it is for me. And I think that that's okay. But they've proven in the past that they can thread the needle of expectation, and not everyone's going to like something right away. But we've also been sitting this franchise out for 14 years, and all of us want to get back in the game. So Darren over at Gateworld, he ran a poll a few weeks before the announcement that basically suggested that on a certain level, as long as it was of quality and had the great production value, people were ready to rock and roll on almost anything.
Yeah.
So
that's how I feel. I'm like, I don't really care where it's set or who's in it. I just, as long as it's good, that's my only real standard for it.
exactly.
So as long as it's good, as long as it stays true to everything that Stargate is, I don't really care. Is there a Stargate? Can you go through it to another planet? Okay, good. We're rolling.
What is it about that storytelling device that works so well?
Well, because it's an adventure. You go through and it's to another world, and everybody likes adventures. Everybody likes the mystery of it.
Yeah.
And guess what? You get to come home at the end.
That's
it.
There's
a way back.
It's the hero's journey.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. But also there's a quality of humor there that I think is unique, where it's not humor like, I'm not a big fan of Doctor Who. I find it rather campy. And I had a few friends who were like, well, Stargate's got to be the same way. And then they watched it and they were like, it's not. It has a level of, there's a little bit more sophistication to it in terms of some of the things that Rick put into it that were just so unexpected. And I think that it just occupies its own space on the genre shelf, as it were. I've been trying to define it since 1997 when I started watching, and I can't. So it's something that's completely unique and its own identity. And I've had 354 and I would like more, please.
I know, right? I don't know. It's because our military is so secretive, and it's like, well, this honestly could be happening. They could have a Stargate that they're going through and going and finding aliens and all these alien worlds, and it's just hidden from us. So I feel like you watch it and it's like, this could be happening. Whereas with, like, obviously Star Wars, Galaxy Far, Far Away, Star Trek, it's like, okay, that could possibly happen in, hundreds of years, but it can't happen right now. Whereas Stargate is like, you go to bed at night, it's like, oh, this could be happening,
Who knows?
This could be real.
You could be meeting these people in the grocery store when they're going and getting their milk.
Yeah.
You have, they are not us, but they are. And we know that there are people who live among us who have all kinds of lives and secrets and things that they have to deal with that we will never know. And God bless them for doing the work that they do. But I have a little bit of a treat for you, Anna.
Oh, what is it?
I hope that you're cool with this, because
okay, let's see. What
I
is
have
it?
someone very special that I would like to introduce you to here. If he will join me here just a second. So come on in, sir. Just a moment here. Paul, you're muted, buddy. Share your audio.
Oh my gosh!
Paul, you're muted. Unmute,
I can't
Paul.
hear anything.
Hey, there he is. Meet Anna.
Hello,
oh my
Anna.
gosh! Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. This is crazy. Hi, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. David told me so much about you, and I just had to pop in and say, hello, love. Thank you very much. You're a big Dr. Beckett fan.
I am. I was so upset when they killed you.
Terrible. It's like killing a puppy.
It was, but you know what? When they brought you back, I was really hoping you wouldn't be a clone and the clone that had died. But you know what? I was like, even if it's a clone, you're still back. Oh my gosh, hi.
I came back. I made it back, Anna. I made it back strong. And David told me so much about you, so I just wanted to pop in and say hello and wish you a Merry Christmas. I understand you have a new little one, a new little Stargate fan.
I do. I have a little 1-year-old.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's amazing. Well, we love, I love Star Wars too. So, I'm a big fan. So,
Paul, what's going on with you right now? What's keeping you busy? I know that we're doing some stuff with you here in a couple of weeks, but where can we be looking out for you in the near future? Here?
It's been busy. I've been working on a series called My Life with the Walter Boys on Netflix, which is really fun. We just wrapped the season last week out in Calgary, and It's a really great show, and Netflix is very, very popular. So I'd be fortunate to be on that show. And then I just finished a Hallmark last week, and
Okay.
I went to Ireland earlier in the year. Did like 3 different series of movies called Providence Falls, and a bunch of other things too. Billy the Kid. It's been busy, so I've been very fortunate, you know.
I've heard
And
Billy
then
the Kid's a really good show.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't seen the episodes yet, but I've seen a bit of the show. It's great. So I haven't had a chance to see this season yet, though, but I will at some point in time.
Okay. Well,
Do you have any questions for me, Anna? Do you have anything you want to ask me?
I'm sorry, I'm really like awkward around celebrities.
not
I'm
Paul. Look, seriously, Paul is the best, and he really is the Cowardly Lion from Atlantis. So you can tell him your
Exactly. You
secrets.
can ask
and-
me anything. I don't
Yeah.
bite.
Ah,
Go ahead.
I don't know, you're putting me on the spot. I'm nervous. Okay. After they killed you off, you're done. What was it like to come back?
That's a ridiculous question. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, honestly, that was a good question. It was weird at first, but it was really fun. I talked to Joe Malazzi about that, and I just said, would you like to come back in the show? I said, yeah, of course, it'd be amazing. And the fan basis, they really, I always thank them, the Saving Carson Beckett campaign, and just the amount of outpouring there was when the character had been killed off with an exploding tumor. And then when Joe said, can you come back? And I said, how are you going to do it? He goes, the sci-fi, we'll figure out a way. And, he told me about the clone. I said, do I act any differently? He said, no, just you're just the same, and it came back and everyone was awesome. And it was a lot of fun. It was just different playing him at first, but then I just played him exactly the same way as Carson would be, So it was really fun to come back onto the show and see everybody again, of course, because I was down in Los Angeles at the time and came back up to Vancouver for it. But it was really oddly different because no one expected it, which is great. And then when I came back, the outpouring was really awesome. So it was, I think, a really nice thing for me personally and for the fan base as well. I think they really loved it. And then, of course, Carson, flew back Atlantis into the San Francisco Bay at the end. So,
Yeah.
he has that special gene.
That was a really full circle for that character as well, because he could barely get a drone to stop running in Atlantis in the pilot, and then by the end of the show, he's flying the city home.
You know what?
Yeah.
Michael gave his clone like super ability to control the ancient gene, probably.
That's good, exactly. And and for me, as David will attest to, I like Carson in the first in the first season, I'm very technically inept, and so Carson's more of a humanitarian, so to speak. So it's not really my forte. Like trying to get me to do some of these things, I'm like, okay, let's do a little test first. Where you get nervous but ask questions, I get nervous with technology. My wife is great, but it's not my.
Paul,
I'm not David Stewart.
Well, and then you came back and you had like probably the most fun episode to watch, the survival episode where you guys are all in the mist and like you got the
Whispers.
wraith people. Yes, that
That was
episode is
cool.
awesome.
it's
That
was
scary
fun
as
episode.
hell.
It is.
It was they had me running in a fog on a treadmill.
Oh, really?
At one point in time, yeah, that's how. I don't know if that really worked, but I couldn't really say you're okay, and he picked up the speed. I'm okay, and I couldn't see my feet or anything, but I was running the treadmill, looking around. I think they used some of that in the studio. That was really crazy because we couldn't see, right? So for safety reasons, it was so foggy. It was a cool episode. Joe and I had a lot to do in that episode. So
Yeah, that episode, it's like if I know anyone that's like never watched Stargate, I'm like, oh, you just want to watch something fun? Let's watch that episode. It's like you don't really need to know this background a little bit. Like this guy came back, okay? Now watch it. These
yeah,
are the
you had
bad
to watch. I'm
guys.
telling you, watch Beckett.
That's it. And the all-female team, everything in that cast, in that episode works. The setting, the ambiance, everything. But you guys had to have been coughing up smoke for days. I mean, I know it's water vapor basically, but still, I mean, you're,
Yeah, it was a little bit weird, but yeah, there was a lot of smoke in that one, but it was okay. We would pop outside whenever we could, but they were really great at controlling the atmosphere and stuff. But it was a really fun episode. It was really fun though.
It's so fun to watch.
Oh, thank you.
Paul,
Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you so much for popping in. I think we're going to be able to see you at Albuquerque at the convention center in January.
Albuquerque Comic Con in January, and I think it's the 16th to the 18th. I'll be there. Very much.
Yeah. So, and
yeah,
I also
then,
want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
I also want to point out the fact that Paul has a cameo available as well, and you can you submit messages to people.
Yes, a Christmas cameo for your family, a weekend.
Oh my God!
Hey, who doesn't need a house call during the holiday season from Dr. B? Thank you
That's
very
it,
much.
exactly right. I'm going to put links to both of those in the description below after we wrap here. Paul, thank you so much. I'm looking
You're
forward to
welcome. Great
seeing you in a
see
couple
Mike.
weeks.
Yeah, I will see you. And very nice to meet you.
It was a
Merry
pleasure
Christmas,
meeting you.
everybody.
Merry
Have a great
Christmas.
Merry
holiday
Christmas.
season. Okay, all the best.
Bye,
guys.
buddy. Bye-bye now.
There. Bye now.
I'm sorry, Anna. I know about how you can feel sometimes around celebrities, but when I knew that you were a big Carson fan, I couldn't resist. So,
Well, you got me. I think I've learned after meeting William Shatner, it's like to be a little less awkward.
Bill Shatner is the shat's gonna shat, and there's only so much that you can do. So
Listen. He remembered me from the day before taking the picture. He was super nice, and I blew it.
How did you blow it? What do you mean you blew it?
I did the whole awkward, well, my friend rushed me over. He's like, nobody's there. He's got no line. Let's go talk to him while he's here. And I was not mentally prepared. So I was just rushed into a situation. Take in mind, I'm in full cosplay as 7 of 9. I have the prosthetic on. And he's looking at me, and I'm just not talking. He said something to me, and I'm just you're my hero.
Oh, no.
And he was like, ugh.
Oh, no.
And I was I want to die. I just want to crawl under my bed and hide.
Look, I mean, there are those of us who feel that way. I had a very, similar reaction to meeting Brent Spiner for the first time, but you get through it. You get used to seeing people who you feel in your heart are larger than life, and the more you do it, the more, you get used to it. But yeah, those first ones you should have heard me when I was on the phone with Amanda Tapping for the first time. That was my first audio interview ever. My heart was racing. And then I went upstairs and talked to my parents afterwards. I was still a kid living at home, and I was like, oh my God, Amanda was so wonderful. She's amazing. And my dad looked at me and he said, don't get stars in your eyes. And that's all I needed to hear. And it was yeah, okay, they do put their pants on just like everyone else does. They just have kind of an outrageous job. But
you know what? But with some of these people, it's I don't know anything about them. I didn't know that Carson wasn't really Scottish. That was new to me.
Yeah.
Which I learned just now. Well,
oh, really?
I don't like to look up the actors' lives and all that, because I'm just
fair.
This is, unless I'm watching the making of, and then it's okay, whatever they want to say. But it's I like these characters. I'm watching it for the characters. I also feel really bad for celebrities, because when I was a kid, I remember when Britney Spears shaved her head, and there was the whole thing about her getting stalked by the paparazzi. And I'm this is kind of intrusive. I don't know how much information is online that they personally want versus some stalker, some paparazzi that put it out there.
Yeah.
So it's inevitable, especially with the internet now, what you see. But I don't want to know every single dirty little secret about William Shatner. That's Captain Kirk. He is Captain Kirk. If you guys don't like what he does in real life, I really try to keep the person separate from the character that they play. I do my best. Sometimes it's really hard. I've had terrible interactions with Mark Hamill, and I'm
okay,
on Twitter, and I'm
yeah.
Oh, that's Luke Skywalker, and he's being such a dick to me on Twitter. I'm just but
I know that's the frustrating thing about the modern social media culture. It's that politics and everything have folded in. Thanks, COVID. There was nothing else going on for years, and now everyone's personal opinions are out on everything, and it's so hard to isolate an artist from their art. And finally, I don't know if you saw what Jennifer Lawrence, the interview that she did a few weeks ago, but finally, some of them are just saying, I don't want people to think of me for anything other than my craft. And it's yes, that's okay. I want to see these characters and not the actors who play them when I watch Empire Strikes Back, which to this day is my favorite movie. And there's something, a special place that's in that I hold in my heart for Luke. And when he dies in Last Jedi, sorry everyone who hasn't seen it, but I didn't care. I didn't care. Now, how is that possible?
Well, it's because the people making the movie didn't care, and
it felt like that.
Yeah, it did. And you know what? With Ryan Johnson, like not even caring about Star Wars, I'm just
Who's a
pretty much
good
everyone.
filmmaker, by the way. Some of his films are brilliant. So it's just like, what's going on there? You know, don't subvert
It
my
really feels like
expectations too much.
it's being made by people that have like malicious intent for this IP. It's like if you don't like it, then don't work on it. You know, there's other properties that, you know, you could work on, but it is what it is. But as far as like celebrities, it's like I guess I've learned my lesson as far as not to make a total, you know, idiot of myself. But also it's like I don't know if it's going to enrich my respect for them
Mm,
versus, you know, take away like I love watching documentaries on Leonard Nimoy. He's, I guess, and all
yeah.
not just documentaries, but his absolute love for telling stories and like
Yep.
he did this really great interview years and years ago. I think it was even before I was born about he did this movie with Michelle Pfeiffer and he's just talking about it. He's like, yeah, nobody liked the ending, but he's like, that wasn't the point. Her character, like that's not what her character would do. That's why it's not a happy ending. And just like him talking about what he's making, I can respect that a lot. And then people, you know, want him to talk about things and try to trap him like talk about politics. And he's like, well, you know, I've never really thought about it. My entire like mindset is obsessed with this. Like this is what I'm focusing
And
on.
that's okay.
Yeah. And honest, I feel bad for some celebrities because I feel like they've been baited. It's like they're
Yes.
put on the spot in interviews, and it's like, well, what do you say on the
Yeah.
spot? But
You didn't
when
do
it's
X,
people
Y,
that
or
I
Z.
like,
Why didn't you do X, Y, or Z? Well, maybe because I didn't even know about it, you know? It's like
yeah.
inaction can be inferred to be all kinds of things these days if you don't participate in something, or if you do. It's like one way or another, the pitchforks at some point are going to come for you. And how you stand up to them or ignore them will say a lot about your character and your personal constitution at the end of the day.
Well, see, that's why I gained so much respect for Gina Carano because she stood up for herself. And so, like, I did not like The Mandalorian. As much as I love Baby Yoda, I hated that show from
Mm.
the first episode had some kind of promise, but it fell apart for me. And so I really didn't care for her character as much. But then when I was at Star Wars Celebration and she just talked about, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are all so welcoming. I love being a part of Star Wars." And that made me like it, or at least
I
like
see.
her and like her character. I'm like, she's such a like open and warm and kind person.
I've
And
always
so
been a
that
fan of
was
her from her fighter days. Like I've always been a fan of her. So it was really seeing her in this universe was like Gina Carano. I mean, I liked Cara Dune, and I saw a little bit of season 1 of Mandalorian, but I haven't really watched it. So I just to put that out there, I don't have any context.
Mm.
So.
See, I'm just like, just show Baby Yoda. I don't care about anything else.
So
Just
I
show
grew
me
up
the baby.
with Gremlins. So he's a green
Yes.
Mogwai. And what's up
He
with the
is,
eyes?
and you know,
Why are the
Mogwais are
eyes like
cute.
that? They
They're
are
cute.
indeed.
See, I
Yeah.
got one right. Where's my arm on here? Right there. Right above me there.
Have you seen the there you go. Have you seen the animatronic ones at
Yes.
my gosh.
Of course, I want them.
The sophistication of some of these things is
They're
just
so
mind-blowing. Some of the stuff that they're producing. Yeah. I got a couple questions for you, Anna.
Okay. Let's go.
Tuffy, would you have preferred Sheppard to end up with Teyla or Weir? Inquiring minds want to know.
Okay. I'm just going to put this out there. I like it being left open.
Okay.
And I loved the sexual tension and the dynamic between him and Weir, but I feel like it would have ruined it if they got together. And I think the thing that I really liked about it was they really respected each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that, like, he knows he can trust her, even when he doesn't agree with her, he can trust her to get the job done and vice versa. And so even though that sexual tension was there, the chemistry was there, they respected each other enough to never act on it. At least that's what I got from it. And then with Teyla, I could see how it could work. And then I really thought since they were writing her pregnancy into the story anyway, like it was going to be him. He was going to be the dad and like they were just keeping it on the DL.
Really?
That I thought that.
quite
So when
the
they
line
threw
that he
in the
would have
other
crossed.
guy,
Yeah.
that could have worked. And then especially with how mad he got when he's like, you didn't tell me you were pregnant and you went on this mission. And then she's wanting to name her kid John. I'm just like, oh, this random guy we just are now hearing of is the baby daddy. I'm sure, Teyla. I'm sure. So like I thought that they were building up to that and they were really just trying to keep it secret and professional to everyone. But I
That's one of
think
those things that they could retcon in the future and say,
they could. Well, I
yeah,
mean, they could always just say she's like, no, we wanted to keep it secret. We wanted to protect it. You know,
mm,
there was no, I don't know, because in Star Trek they at least have it where there's like protocol when it comes to interspecies relations like that.
they allow
So they're
fraternization, but yeah, you have to report everything to the doc. So
well,
yeah,
especially in the military. So there could have been something going on. I don't know. It still could be answered like that. The guy that was the dad supposedly
Kanan,
could.
yeah.
Yeah, the dad. Uh-huh. Like that to me was like really that was how you guys did it. I don't know. It felt kind of like a setup to me. So
Yeah.
even now I still don't believe it. I still think Sheppard is her baby daddy.
I don't yeah, I think that that's a real possibility. That Kanan just came out of left field and it's like, okay, what's going on here? You know, we see him for one
Mhm.
scene. Well, no, we see him and have dialogue for like basically one scene, and it just I was never really satisfied with it. I can tell you, Rachel wasn't all that satisfied with it
No.
either.
I honestly,
So
well, even when the episode where Carson dies, like
yeah,
Ronan literally just asked Sheppard, he's like, why haven't you and Teyla been a thing? And he's about to answer, and then it gets cut off. So it's like, you guys already have it set up, but I'm not big on the romance aspect of things. So I'm like, I don't need to see it. I guess I'm not that kind of girly girl. It's just not, it doesn't pique my interest as much as other girls. So it's like, if they just said, oh yeah, we've been together, we just trying to be like, all right, cool. I don't need to see all the mushy stuff. And it's like, you guys are happy, you respect each other, you guys get along great, except for when you're pregnant going into battle. That's probably not a good idea, Teyla. Shepherd's right in that sense. But I think it could have worked. But at the same time, I was fine with nobody, it just being left open-ended and nobody ending up together. I think that really killed X-Files. I hated it when they made Mulder and Scully get together. And so
oh
because
wow,
they could just ruin it. So I'm
yeah.
glad Weir and Sheppard never got together. I'm fine watching the first 3 seasons with that relationship that they had
Mhm.
built. The relationship he had with Teyla, I think, was great until she got pregnant, and then there's this other guy thrown in from, left field. So
Yeah,
it
no, that's
has
a
to
fair
be
point.
Teyla now, but before, I don't know. I liked his dynamic better with Elizabeth, but it is what it is.
I don't, yeah, I go back and forth. It depends on the day. It's like, okay, what side of the bed did I wake up on? Kevin Weaver wants to know, if you were asked tomorrow to pitch an episode for the new Stargate show, what idea do you think you might want to pitch? What would have to go in?
Ugh. Well, there definitely have to be aliens because that was my gripe with Joe. I'm like, there needs to be more non-human
Yeah,
aliens
that was great about
in the show.
SGU is that they really they the visual effects were there, you know. And then when we finally had humans, they earned a great reason to have humans. So
Yeah.
that's a great point.
Well, SGU did it. They had aliens, so
Mhm.
I'm not gonna knock them for that. But it was just so many just empty planets, and I have a really even if it's like you go to a planet, there's like a cat-like creature there, like there's a fish, a bug, and there was those one episode, like the time loop one on SGU with like the
Oh,
what are
the
those?
squids?
Yes, those things.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah. And
So
you had the flesh-eating plants, you know,
yes.
that went and bit Scott and made him hallucinate that he was falling in that he was marrying. That's one of my favorite episodes, frankly. But yeah, there was a lot that was going on there. I think that the alien, you're right. There was a lot of empty planets. That's a fair point.
hmm
There's not that much out there, I think. You know, the further that you go
See, I
out.
disagree. If there's life, if there's plant life, if there's water on a planet,
Yeah.
there can be life. And so, uh, listen, if it had like a James Cameron Avatar level of budget, could you
Mm,
imagine the worlds that they could be going like a world like Pandora, like going through and it's
it's
like,
true.
oh, there's like giant humanoids. Oh, we have to wear masks to be able to breathe on this planet. But
Yeah.
you know what? If if it's the starting episode, let's have Jack on the beach. He's finally on his beach, his tropical paradise. You hear a phone ring. Pans over, and it's Sam sitting next to him. She gets the phone, she answers it, and she's like, "Hey, babe, I gotta go back. They need me. Something's going on with the gate." And he's just like, says something clever and leans back, and then Sam has to go back to Stargate Command. So it confirms that they're together. Jack's finally on his beach, drinking mimosas. Sam goes back because she's running the gate program. And then, I don't know, Eli found a way to get them there and woke everybody up. Destiny's coming back. Oh, Destiny contacts them. We found something. We need a team with, somebody that's got ancient blood, somebody, I don't know, somebody else that we've met. We need like this type of specialized scientist. And then we get a whole new team. They go through, and then it's the new one. So that's, I guess, kind of what I would like to see. But as far as like just a one-off episode, I think it was really... Remember that episode where they find the crashed ship and they're like, oh, our ship crashed. Then they actually find out that they're prisoners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
I wish that
Season
they would have
6.
touched. I wish they would have touched on that a little bit more, and like those people and their planet.
Oh,
And
the
then also,
Siracan. Yeah. Well, we went back and
Yes.
saw them in Space Race.
I'm trying. Oh, yes, the one with the mixed guys, right?
Yes, exactly.
I'm not, when it comes to Stargate, I want you to know I have watched it many times. I am not like, I don't know
Don't
the
apologize.
episodes. I don't know
Don't
everyone's
apologize.
names.
No, you're okay. Yeah, but
If you ask me that kind of stuff about Star Trek, I got it. But with Stargate, it's like I like it. I've enjoyed it many times, but I'm not as up on my knowledge as you.
So
I
one of my
apologize.
favorites was in season 4
Yes, I love
of
them.
Voyager with Chakotay, when he goes down to the planet and he's working with the human resistance movement, and they're fighting the nemesis
guys.
on the other side, and it's like, okay, what's really going on there? And then by the end, you don't know who's really a villain. You have no idea. That's what I loved so much about some of those Star Trek episodes. It's like, and Robert Beltran finishes the line, I wish it was as easy to stop hating as it was to start. That's what Star Trek is about. And Stargate can be about that too. But one of the things that Brad and Rob, and they all said from the first, is it's entertaining first. Because that's what it is that we're making it for. If there's a meaning or a message, that's a bonus.
Well, see, I feel like there was meaning and a message in almost all of them. If it's not like that overarching, like this is the meaning of the life kind of episode, but it's like little friendship gestures, like, oh, this is what it means, just to have like a good day with your friend, or to have
chicken
somebody's
soup.
back. Yeah, so I like that kind of stuff. But the reason why I like that so much, and the Space Race one is like a nice continuation of it, but it's like those are other cultures that are, a couple steps more advanced than we are. And so I wish that they would have interacted with them more, especially when they were really wanting to, have allies, like with the Tok'ra. It's like, I feel like we should have seen that a little bit more. So maybe a little bit more like with delegates and people that are, ambassadors going forth between like, okay, well, we're from here and we want to, maybe we don't have enough salt water on our planet, so we need some of your ocean water or something silly like that, which like the campy chicken noodle soup stuff. But it would also, I don't know, maybe Earth has something to trade with these other aliens.
Deuterium, heavy water with the guy when Renee Bergeron, and they turned out to be space white supremacists. But no, that's one of my favorite episodes is The Other Side. That's another Brad Wright episode. That's good science fiction.
I know. So when I was interviewing Joe, he's like, that's a question for Brad. That's a question for Brad. You should hit him up. And I was like, he doesn't follow me on Twitter, and I'd probably be one of those annoying people asking him 10,000 questions. But I would like to see something more with them, because that first episode, that's a great episode. I like it when it's like that swap. So it's like, oh, they're good guys, but then it's like, oh no, it's a prison. And then the episode with Flash Gordon, Air
Spock, Sam J. Jones.
Yeah, so I had Sam J. Jones on my channel a while back, and I asked him about it, and he said he's like, they all had their like system, and I was kind of like the outsider in, and he's like, I was like interacting with these people, and I did my thing, but they had their own thing going. I wish that they would have followed up with that story, because he gave Carter the drug so she could find a cure, and we never got a follow up with that. And he's like, he's on the run now, so we don't even know if he's going to be alive, if he died or not. But since he didn't fulfill his mission, so it's like I would have liked to seen that. So we never got follow up. That was ended with a very open ending, so that would have been nice to see.
The species definitely. There's a lot of things that are left, but I can tell you what they did with that was they brought in Vala. you know, because that was kind of what they were going for. So there would have been no Vala Maldoran without Era Spock.
Yeah.
And they did. I wasn't the craziest about Vala, but sometimes she just worked well.
Oh, see, I love
So,
her.
yeah. Well, she's a
She's so
wild
fun.
card. Yeah, exactly right. You don't know what she's going to do. All right, removal of treasure from a sealed metal enclosure. I mean, it's just ridiculous stuff that they could put her in, and having her be the mother of the Ori Messiah was clever. So that was a great way. In three different instances in that franchise, in one of each of the shows, they made a baby work with the story, and they were really clever about how they did it. So I mean, 4 if you include Olivia, Amanda's baby. But yeah, so I mean, how do you juggle your show and your infant? I mean, you're literally feeding in one hand and editing with another, I'm guessing.
I know.
Or most of your stuff is live, I would suppose.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, so I am a night owl. I am a vampire. So my daughter, it goes to sleep usually between 7 and 8, and then I have all night, and then she wakes up between 6 and 7 in the morning. So I
She's
have
out.
time.
Wow.
She is
down
the
at
best
1.
baby.
Man.
Is this whole time, ever since she was born. Like,
Wow.
obviously, I took time off when she was,
Yeah.
you know, brand new.
Sure.
But
Hey,
no,
baby.
she's a great sleeper. My husband and I, we have it, you know, worked out when I need to get stuff done. But I'm not working as much as I did before. If I had my before baby schedule,
Yeah.
or before baby schedule, it would not work at all. But no, I have my scheduled shows. All of them are in the evening, and my husband works. I'm at home, and we figure it out.
Have you found that your priorities evolved the moment you made eye contact with that little face? Like, there were things that just weren't as important anymore, that were just like, you know what? It's okay to let this thing go. There's a few other things that I want to devote far more energy to. Or am I wrong?
No, that's I feel like once you know you're pregnant, it's like everything changes. And then like once I had I had a really rough pregnancy, and I had to have the whole emergency C-section thing. So like, we need to get this baby out of you because you're about to have a stroke. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I had to have the emergency C-section. My baby was 4 pounds. She was
How many
this
months
big.
in?
I was a full 9 months. It's 38 weeks, so it
Okay.
counts. They said
Yeah.
that counts as full term. So I was like 9 months,
She was
but
itty bitty.
she was itty bitty. And so she was my little itty bitty baby, but she's like, what? Why is everybody making all this racket? She's a spunky little kid. She's like, nothing phases her. So she's a good baby. Everybody tells me, like, you're so lucky you have such a good baby. And I'm like, I don't know. It's just her personality. But, you know, and when she comes out here, she just wants to like look at everything and touch everything. But when I have this stuff on, she likes it. She likes watching Star Trek, especially the original series, because like the colors right now.
Very bright
she likes
colors.
it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Following up after Bluey, we'll put Star Trek on.
Basically, actually, yes, that is how my days goes, especially on Wednesdays. But priorities now, it's like, if the video doesn't get done immediately or come out like the day for like a reaction video, I don't care. It's going to come out. The people that want to see my reaction to things are going to watch it. I don't have to do it, like stop everything and do it right then, right now. If it's not perfectly edited, I don't care. It is what it is, you know.
That's the thing.
And as far as
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Oh
please.
no, as far as live streams go, I just schedule it, and instead of going for 6 hours, I go for 2 or 3. So
6-hour live. You used to do 6-hour live streams. What do you talk about all that time? Where do you go to the bathroom? Wow,
you
that's
can go
amazing.
to the bathroom. You
I
just play a
suppose.
little clip. Well,
There
to
you
be
go.
fair, it's not like just me, myself, and I, but
Yeah.
usually I'm interacting with the chat and just chatting about whatever is going on that week, or on a tangent about Star Wars or Star Trek or a movie review. But you know, the 6-hour live streams, I do a show on Thursdays called The Jack Show, and so it's me and my co-host, and then you know, just friends chatting. You can chat with your friends for 6 hours, right?
Absolutely. Well, once Stargate comes back, I would love to make an appearance at some point on there, because you've got
Oh,
a
of
great
course.
vibe over there. You guys know what you're doing, and I love the diversity of thought and opinions. So this has been terrific, Anna. I really appreciate you taking the time. Where did that Star Wars girl, where did that moniker come from? Did someone say that to you once and it's like, oh yeah, that's me.
No, that's what everyone called me. So when I was little, my mom had my hair cut like a boy and I hated it. So I was like, everything is princesses. I have to wear a princess dress every single day and I'm only watching princess movies because I'm like, I'm a girl, I'm not a boy mom. But I was in her defense, I have crazy thick curly hair that she could not maintain and I was a little bit of a butt that would not let my mom brush my hair and now I'm learning that with my own child. But my aunt was watching me because my parents were at the hospital having another baby. How dare they? And my aunt, all of her kids are older, and so she didn't have very many like VHSs. And so the only princess movie she had, I think, was The Little Mermaid. And I was like, we're watching this over and over and over and over again. And she's like, Anna, I cannot watch this movie anymore. She's
Look
like,
at this
what?
stuff. Isn't it neat?
She's
I
like,
grew
why
up
don't
with
we
Little
watch
Mermaid.
this or watch this one? And I was like, no, no. And she's like, want to watch Star Wars? And I said, no. And she's like, there's a princess in it. I was like,
Yeah.
turn it on right now.
Yeah.
And so she went and like shut me in a room and I just watched Star Wars and I was like, my life changed. And then she's like, you want to watch the other ones? I was like, there's more. So I binge watched all of Star Wars at like 2.5, mind you.
Ah,
And I've been obsessed ever since. And so everyone that's ever known me has known I'm obsessed with Star Wars. Like I went to the same high school as George Lucas. When I graduated
right.
high school, I gave a speech all about George Lucas and Star Wars. And so everyone, like middle school, elementary school, high school, everybody knows me as like that Star Wars girl. It was usually like that weird Star Wars girl, but that's what everyone always called me. And then the YouTube thing happened on accident, and I was thinking of a name, and I'm like, well, this is what people call me. So there you go.
Makes a lot of sense. It's not like you took it out of turn. It was
No.
Carrie was a powerhouse. I'll never forget when I found out that she died. I was just devastated. I was like, please God, let her survive off of that plane. And there was the the tribute video that Disney made for her is some of the best 5 minutes of anything edited ever. Just it's a great sequence of clips. I mean, I love Princess Leia. Princess Leia is me. It's like a Mobius striptease. You know, she was a powerhouse, and she was the one in charge. And I can't see how it could have gone to anyone else to play that.
know.
She loved that character, and she loved that franchise.
She was great. It was funny. It's like I watched it because of the princess, but I loved it because of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. And I was in college when she passed away, and I remember I was like, I was doing my midterms, man, and my friend walked in because I was in the dorms, and he was just like, "Did you hear about Carrie?" And I was like, "Carrie who?" And he's like, "Fisher." And I'm just like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Did she like say something ridiculous and like is the whole
Right,
internet
yeah.
on fire
Yeah.
again?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "She's in cardiac arrest. She was on an airplane." And I was like, I can't draw anymore.
No.
I was so upset, and I was just
No.
like, you know what? But she's strong. She'll pull through. And then I found out the news, and I was just like, ugh, it was devastating. It was,
And Debbie was gone within a day.
I know,
Her
like
heart was broken.
you know, now that I have a child, I understand. Like
Yeah.
if my baby died, I don't know if I could keep going. So
Yeah, you
I
can
get it.
understand it completely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Awful.
Todd. We saw Todd at the Chinese Theater in LA when Star Wars 9 premiered. He was there with his new book, and they were doing an auction of a lot of Carrie's Star Wars memorabilia, and that was one of those things that's a core pre-COVID memory. And that Comic-Con, that San Diego Comic-Con, the number of people who were honoring Carrie, and I'm just getting to take pictures of all of them and just making eye contact with every one of them, going, thank you for honoring her. And every one of them go, just no words, you know, because she meant different things to all of us, but a lot of it, she meant the same thing to all of us too.
Yeah.
So,
She was our princess.
she was our princess.
So
That's right. Yeah.
just thinking about it, I don't know if you've been seeing her daughter just did like that whole photo shoot with her kids
Really?
at
I
like
haven't
yeah
seen
with
it.
the Ewoks, and she's all dressed up like they're on
Oh,
indoor. It's so cute. And she just did an interview where she was talking about how she just goes and like sits at her mom's grave and like talks to her with her kids, and it's like I'm like, oh my God. It's too sad for me.
there's some things you just don't get over. So,
No.
yeah. Oh, I wore a Star Wars shirt today.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. So hello there. But
The Master Kenobi.
that's it, Master Kenobi. You like the animated stuff?
You know, I did. Everybody gets mad at me. I never really got through the 2D animated one because I hate that style. And then I did watch the 3D animated one. I didn't watch the 7th season that Disney came out with. I watched parts of it, but not all of it. But
The ending's good.
yeah.
I liked it. Yeah,
Okay.
there's 4 episodes, 30 minutes each. It's concurrent with Revenge of the Sith, and it was
Yeah,
it was
I
satisfying.
heard. I heard though people were upset because it contradicts what happened in the Ahsoka book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
can't
like the
speak to
ending
that.
in the Ahsoka book. So
Okay.
I've been really angry with everything that Disney has done, and I'm like, do I really want to get upset again? And I just haven't gotten around to it, but if maybe I will.
You know what? It's not going anywhere. That's what I say about, Mandalorian and all the others. Last question for you. Marsha Middleton wanted to know. We have just learned that the original Star Wars film, not the reworked versions, will be released into theaters in 2027 for the 50th. Oh my God, it's 50 years old. The 50th anniversary. How excited are you to be able to see the original film, warts and all, on the big screen? I saw it on the big screen in 97, so.
I'm gonna pull this card. I lived in the same town as George Lucas, and I've seen it already in the Star or State Theater there. So
Okay.
I've seen it. But I don't know if I'm gonna go again just because of the baby. But I've seen it original, warts and all, unchanged, I should say. So it's, I guess to me, it's not anything new. And I don't know, maybe Disney has just really killed that bug in me. But
I get it.
I've seen it. So it's not brand new. If I had never seen it, then I'd be like losing my mind. But I'm like, I've seen it before.
Yeah, it's one of those core memories of mine going with my cousin and seeing it 3 days in a row on the opening weekend that it came. The special edition came out in '97, and it just wasn't the same, with the Imperial droid saying "nan nan boo boo" to the the worker droid out there in the heat and just slamming it down. It's like, okay, it's gonna be one of these. All right, very good. But
Well, what was even cool is the high school I went to. So I went to Thomas Downey High School, which is the same one George Lucas went to. And so my vice principal was a huge Star Wars fan too. And so anytime he reached out to ILM or Lucasfilm, they're like, oh yeah, because obviously that's where George Lucas went.
yeah,
So when I forgot what it was exactly, but I was a sophomore and I think we had all just finished like a test. So all the sophomores got to go into the auditorium and we got to watch it. So the unedited original 1977 version of Star Wars while I was in high school. So I've seen it at high school or in high school. And then I also at the State Theater in Modesto. So
you've really grown up with this thing on the big screen.
yeah, so it's
Well,
I guess
Marsha, there
to
you
me,
go.
I'm like, oh, this isn't anything. I'm like, oh, I've done that before, It's not the biggest deal. I think I lost my mind more when I finally got to see The Wrath of Khan in theaters because I obviously was not born when all of those were coming out and I had never seen any of the original Star Trek movies in theater. So I dragged my husband to go see it and we were the only ones in the theater.
Oh my God, it's one of the greatest films out. I prefer Search for Spock.
Know.
I prefer, but Wrath of Khan is damn good. So Ricardo Montalban was brilliant. Can you believe they nearly finished the script and were ready to go? And they're like, someone should really ask Ricardo if he's available from Fantasy Island. I think that's probably a good idea. Thank God he said yes. Same thing happened with Cliff Simon. So for Stargate Continuum, Cliff said that someone hadn't notified him, and so they had to renegotiate his deal before the film, before he went and did the picture, because no one had communicated.
That
this
works
is what
out
he
for him.
said.
He's
This
like,
is what he said. Yeah, exactly. Anna, thank you so much.
No problem.
For
Thanks
joining
for
me
having
tonight.
Me on. It's been fun.
This has been great. I can't wait to go on this journey with you and the rest of fandom. We've got a long road ahead, but I'm looking forward to kind of approaching this thing slow. Let's let them take their time and do it right. We've waited 14 years, so.
I know, right? We can wait. I'm fine with waiting as long as it's good. That's all I ask for. Please just be good. Please, 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 please.
Thank you. I'm going to wrap up the show on this side, but thanks so much for spending some time with me tonight.
No problem. Thanks for having me. It was nice being over here, and hello to all of the chat. Make sure you smash that like button.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, we have Martin Garrow on tomorrow. So the
Ooh,
man himself. So I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about that. But thank you so much.
no problem. It was a pleasure talking to you. I'll see you around.
See you around. All right, everyone. That was Anna, that Star Wars girl. You can find her on YouTube. I'm going to be putting the link in the description below. And thanks again to Paul McGillion for joining us for this episode and popping in. Paul is going to be at Albuquerque Convention Center on January 16th to the 18th next year. And I definitely recommend stopping by if you're going to be in that area. And he's also available on Cameo as well. My name is David Reed. You're watching the Stargate Oral History Project. Our season is coming to an end rather rapidly here. And that is because tomorrow I can announce that Martin Garrow is going to be joining us for our last episode of the season. He has not done an interview since the announcement a couple of weeks ago, and he is going to be joining myself and Darren for that interview tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So the links are already on our socials, and I've already actually published the live stream, so you can lock on to it, and definitely hope you can join us, because this is going to be a simulcast with gateworld.net and Dial the Gate. My tremendous thanks to my moderating team. These folks have done so much work this season, and I just cannot thank them enough for everything that they have done to get me through these 80 some odd episodes. Anthony, Jeremy, Kevin, Lockwatcher, Marsha, Raj, Jacob, our newbies, Enigma, and Steven. Tremendous thanks to Matt Eagle SG Wilson for his amazing opening sequences over the course of the season, and we've got more ships to come. My producers, Anthony Rowling, Kevin Weaver, Summer Roy, and Bryce Orrs, and Frederick Marcoux at Concepts Web, keeping dialthegate.com up and running. We'll be developing a lot of content for you up in Vancouver in the next couple of weeks here. So we're going to be kicking season 6 off with a bang, a lot sooner than I would have expected. Let me tell you that right now. I was planning on coming back in about March. No more, because new Stargate's coming, and someone's got to cover it. My name is David Reed for Dial the Gate. Thank you so much, Anna, that Star Wars girl, for making our evenings a blast. See you tomorrow on the other side.